would you walk away this time? Do you realize, do you recognize it's never over? Or would you walk away this time? 'Cause we all face the fire as we search for the light in the dead of the night. Will you rise above the days to come? Will it be enough? Or will you walk away this time? Look to your left, to your right, there by your side. 'Cause we all face the fire as we search for the light in the dead of the night. Feel that rush through time. Can you feel this newfound change? Only yourselves are here again.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Serenity Gaming. The match here this afternoon, or I say tonight, is going to be Lyra versus KMG Allstars. I myself am Brad. I'm joined here by the fantastic Hat. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How you doing today?
There he is. I apologize about that. Where'd you go, man? What happened?
Yeah, no, that was I had a little bit of problems. Thank you very much.
You're all good. Are you excited for today's match?
I'm really excited for today's match. The last time I casted, I got to cast with the Allstars over there with KMG, and so I'm really excited to see how they fare against Lyra, who's the top of the standings right now, actually.
Oh, okay. Well, obviously it's going to be an interesting match. I mean, Lyra being in such a convincing position and KMG Allstars being at the bottom side of the league. It'd be definitely interesting to see if KMG can pull out something today, see if they can perform better than what they previously have.
I agree. I think with this new meta, we're going to go back to those marksmen, the protect the carry sort of situations, and I think that'll give them more opportunities to have those good jungle fights. I was thinking of a synonym for good, but I couldn't find one. And I want to see Lyra really exploit them in the early laning phase with the power I know they have.
So I got a chance to cast over time the other day, and they ran an extremely good pick composition. But with 9.3 being a position for where crit marksmen are going to be a lot more dominant within the mid game, can you see poke and pick compositions being a thing at the moment?
I can see poke compositions really being a thing because Zoe's still here. We still have Karthus jungle. Ezreal hasn't been nerfed yet. And 2-item Ezreal right now is the place you want to be, especially before 20, especially before even 24 minutes, because you do so much damage with your ultimate as Ezreal. So I'm really excited to see if we see any poke comps, especially coming from Allstars, to kind of counter Lyra's strong team synergy.
Now I'm excited to see a team fight comp. I mean, this may not be 9.2, we may be on 9.3 where ADCs are looking to scale at the 2-item mark, but with 9.2, seeing all those ADCs scaling at the 3-point mark, getting so many team fights to cast over was such an exciting thing. But obviously, if pick comps and poke comps are going to become the thing, then we're going to have to elaborate a bit more on the strength of these individual comps at specific points during the game. But what do you think about that, Hat?
I think that with ADCs, I'm excited to see a game where we actually see Phantom Dancer come out, especially with the new changes. It is getting that Hex Drinker buff, and so while we do have these protect the carry comps and those team fighting comps that we really want to see, I'm excited to see Phantom Dancer get built right after IE, because IE now has crit, but you do lose your double the crit chance. And so I'm excited to see people start building that IE first along with their Berserker's Graves. And
we are live, Hat, during the pick and ban phase of the Pro Draft. First ban for KMG Allstars will be that Lee Sin. Could that be a priority ban of theirs? Perhaps.
I think it's really to stop that early game scaling. I like that Darius ban and the Karthus ban. The Darius because Dunkmaster Darius has a name, and his name is Dunkmaster Darius, or Dunkmaster Poot. The Karthus coming out. No one wants to see a Karthus jungle. And the Lissandra ban. I think that's interesting. Do you want to elaborate on that?
So the Lissandra ban is probably looking to just direct towards that all-in team fighting potential within the late game. A lot more of these compositions want, especially with pick and poke, of what we're going to be looking to see a lot more here with the crate changes. The Lissandra is definitely going to be morely directed towards that pick potential in the mid game of where you can just frost over a wall and get that prison down and securing yourself pretty much just an easy kill with the chain CC potential. But we see Vladimir being picked here for KMG Allstars, and to be honest, I consider Vladimir to be an extremely safe pickup for them.
I think Vladimir right now is really good. Slickar on the Allstars does an amazing. His Vladimir is very clean, and I'd be surprised to see that not go to him. I like the Urgot pickup from Allstars. I'm curious. Lyra's picking the Lucian in a very safe Sejuani. Lucian's still really good right now, but without that Braum pick, I'm curious to see how he's supported down in the bot lane.
I like the potential of the lock on the Sejuani. Sorry, the priority pick. That was the word I was looking for there, Hat. But
yeah, no,
Lyra
it's
obviously putting
really
a lot of Lyra is obviously putting a lot of trust into this Sejuani pick and hoping that the performance of Kreiner can come out and he can really show his potential on that champion.
I definitely agree with that. I like the Kled pick from Lyra because right now we're searching for things to counter an Urgot in lane. If Allstars was smart, they would constantly put Vladimir against that Kled. However, well, we're gonna see how those picks really kind of phase out.
And the Ivan in the jungle.
Ban, that's
Ivan,
awesome.
Look at that. I mean, KMG Allstars are definitely putting priority onto stealing those buffs away from Lyra and really hurting the early game potential of the Sejuani. But it's about if they can set up a defensive plan to stop that Ivan from getting that invade off and just hurting the early game a little bit more. But the bans to come out are really bot lane orientated with the Morgana and Sivir thrown away here for Lyra, and the Alistair and Thresh maybe wanting to have a very safe support. So we talked about this composition of where they had to protect the ADC. The Ivan's already pointing towards that, Hat.
I think that's a really good analysis. When you remove all of the supports that could catch you out, I'm excited to see if they actually pick the Janna. What I really want to see right now is Rakan pick. I know he's been nerfed. The swooping isn't as fast. And the Janna is picked, which is great because you have a good disengage, especially if you try to hard engage with your Ivern. However, I was excited for a hot second to see Ivern as support. Sometimes that comes out, and that is really fun to play. Lyra's giving me Annie. Are we going to see an Annie support? We see that hovered?
Heimerdinger looks to be the pick here. I mean, maybe not. I've seen a Nivea in the bot lane, but it could just be a Blitzcrank pickup. And yeah, they're looking to pick off this Xayah. And I mean, with the amount of disengage that's made for people diving onto the Xayah, sorry, why don't you just grab the Xayah out of the team and put her in the middle of yours?
Exactly. No, I'm excited to see how the Blitzcrank works out as a Janna main, which just means I'm horrible at the game. I hate seeing a Blitzcrank come in because you have to telegraph your movements as Janna, and Blitzcrank's really good at catching you out. And so I'm excited to see how that works. The sustain game favors Allstars. However, Lyra, if they can get ahead early, which is kind of hard with Sejuani, but if they can get ahead early, they can really steamroll the game in their favor, especially with the ult from Kled.
And I'm definitely going to be looking at Graph here to see if he can play this Blitzcrank potential. Play this Blitzcrank pick to its full potential. I don't know what it is, me catching my words tonight. But all eyes are definitely going to be on him and the jungler Kreiner to see if they can put down a lot of pressure early on this Xayah to prevent the scaling coming through. But, I mean, if KMG Allstars reach that late game point, I mean, the team fight potential of the Xayah, the Ivan, and the Vladimir is just going to be exponential.
I agree. I've seen an old school guy, the jungler for Allstars, on a lot of early game junglers. Ivern, I consider more of like a mid-game jungler where you set up picks for your team. I've seen him very well on this J4. and on the Jin Zhao. So I'm excited to see him on a jungle mage type Ivern play. I also want to see if Allstars make what I consider a mistake by invading first and really giving up their position to Lyra right away, because Ivern's such an easy invade jungle.
And what I'd like to point out here is that I really respect the Ivern pick being on blue side as well. Being able to pass off those red buffs at level 5 to your AD carry can really change the tide of a bot lane and really get the push going and the pressure going with the amount of poke that it provides. And obviously, giving over that blue buff to the Urgot in the mid lane, of which I would hope it's looking to be put towards, it's definitely going to help a lot with the sustain being thrown out here by KMG Allstars and really helping them to reach that late game point.
But talk to me about this. If you see an Urgot in the mid lane against an Anivia, I feel that's a dangerous space for an Urgot. But I also think this Urgot isn't in a lot of dangerous spaces. If you throw him in the top lane, you're against a Kled, and Kled can essentially poke you out if the Kled does well. And with the Anivia sustains longer than Urgot. And so I really want to see how they play the Urgot. I want to see if Space Viking gets it, or if Dunkmaster Putin decides, hey, you know, this is my top lane, and I'm going to take Urgot through it. What do you think?
Definitely. I mean, we never really got a chance to elaborate on the flex potential of the Vladimir and the Urgot. I mean, either one of them could be both put in the top or the mid lane, but it'd be really interesting to see. I mean, at the moment, Viking is hovering around that Urgot, but obviously, you know, this could be just something to throw off Lyra and put them in a position where they might not get the matchup that they've wanted. But at the same time, I mean, both of these players are an extremely strong scaling champion that also have a lot of sustain during the laning phase. So it's about really who has the better late game. And to be honest with you, Hat, I think that we're going to be looking at probably one of our personal first ever late game team fights.
What? People go to the late game?
You're
blowing my mind, Hyper.
Blowing your mind. I mean, this is a step that I haven't seen personally, but both of these lanes seem to really put focus on just really farming up. And these solo lanes, I mean, there is kill pressure in the top lane with Mola, but Grath is going to be all eyes on him. I mean, the scaling with the Anivia and the Lucian until he's on 2 items. I can only help feeling that they just want to put as much pressure on this Xayah pick from Akiko as possible.
I agree. If I am Lyra right now, I need to pressure the bot lane because every other lane is a toss-up. Space Viking has an escape on the Urgot, Putin has an escape on the Vladimir, and Ivern has an escape by just going to jungle camps. And so if I'm Lyra right now, if I'm SRG, I need to ward like there is no tomorrow for this early game. I want to see where the Ivern is so that my Sejuani can get to level 4 and hit that power spike, and then hit that another power spike at level 6 where that ganking potential becomes exponential. And so I'm really excited to see where this goes, and I'm excited to see how the bot lane matchups truly fare.
So I'm very interested in the Ivern pathing, and it's going to be something that I'm going to be keeping my eye on personally, being a jungle main, but Kryna should look towards just maybe power farming and clearing the side of his jungle, but we do get confirmation that it is going to be an Urgot mid lane into the Anivia. Killcore maybe not getting the matchup that he wanted, or maybe getting the matchup that he did want. What do you think about that one, Hat?
I think when you play Anivia, you play to play safe. One of my friends, his main, all he does is play Anivia, and what he says is that when you play Anivia, you have to just do your best to farm, especially if you're in a losing lane. I don't believe he's in a losing lane. However, I'd be interested to see how well he wants to poke out the Urgot. Urgot before Black Cleaver, or before any No Magic Mantles, is kind of squishy if there's no Corruption Potions brought. So I'm excited to see how Anivia punishes the Space Viking in the mid lane. I'm also excited to see how they use their teleports, because coming back to mid lane as Urgot, it is a shorter lane, and so you kind of don't want to TP through there. However, with Dunkmaster Putin in the top lane, TP is going to always be available, because until Kled reaches 6, the mobility of that champion isn't as high as mobility for Vladimir and for the rest of the All-Stars team.
That is definitely a very good analyzation coming through from you, Hat. But looking at the bot lane, personally, I have to put favour into KMG All-Star being able to pull this one off. I mean, if these players, you know, they may be second-tier players, but definitely going to have the potential to maybe brush off that pressure that's going to be pushed down by Grath. But overall, and this is a question I used to ask Kerem a lot, who do you think has the better late game draft? Who do you think might have the better team fighting potential 5 versus 5, or maybe even 4 versus 5.
So, in my opinion, Allstars do have the better late game team fight. However, Lyra and SRG, they have the better all-around game, especially because Anivia is so effective early, Blitzcrank and the Lucian. If you get just 2 picks before 10 minutes, they've won lane. And so it's going to be really depending on how Grothwall decides to use the hook and how safe Yakko plays, because I don't imagine... could you say his name for me again? Akio? The Zion?
I believe it's Akiko.
Akiko. I don't imagine Akiko playing so aggressive, especially against a Blitzcrank lane. And so when you look at Lyra's late game team comp, Lucian is there, but what kind of picks can be set up? Can Kreiner land the ultimate on Sejuani? Can Killcore block them off? I feel like the potential is there, but I have to see if they can execute it, especially with the disengage on the side of Allstars.
And definitely a thing to keep your eye on is going to be this split push potential of this Kled. Obviously with that W passive being able to shred through towers, it's going to be something that's definitely going to punish the side of KMG Allstars, but we haven't seen much of them. We haven't seen them shine through, and as we're getting ready to go live here, it's that question of, can they perfect the composition of which they've drafted for themselves, and can they maybe prevent the early lead that Lyra are looking to get here with the Blitzcrank, and obviously Sejuani being such an early game jungler with the level 6 gank, but the potential to gank pre-6, as we do see here that the mid lane is going to be running Inspiration, quite normal for the Urgot, but is this an issue? Could the Kled split pushing cause an issue for KMG Allstars? Do you believe that they're going to be able to have the split-second shot calling potential to make plays such as getting the Baron and getting the Dragon?
I think that Baron, like big objectives, is going to be a problem for Allstars here. The reason for that is because with Ivern, you really need more of your team around objectives. With Sejuani, you can solo a Drake. And so really keeping that vision on your objectives is going to be key, because the engage of fights goes the way of Lyra. However, the disengage and re-engage goes in the way of Allstars. And so if Allstars have the communication to get there, I believe they win the fight. However, you said with the split push from Muller on the Kled, that's going to be a problem, because who's going to fight the Kled? Is it going to be consistently the Vladimir? And if that's the case, they're going to lose a massive amount of late game damage coming into the fights. And they're basically, with the Ivern, the Urgot, and the Zyre, they're just going to be dancing around and waiting for Lucian to ult or dash in and make a mistake, or Blitzcrank to miss a hook. And so for the side of Allstars, you really have to time your fights, and you have to be the one to initiate plays and always keep Lyra on the back foot. Piper.
I do definitely believe that SRG have the potential to pull off a 4 versus 5. I mean, obviously with the peak potential of the Blitzcrank hook and then straight into the ultimate of Anivia and just the complete burst that the late game Anivia has, as well as Lucian just being able to do his own thing. He's one of the more independent AD carries, much more like an Ezreal, being able to kite around himself. But honestly, I do believe 100% that SRG have the potential to win a fight regardless of if Muller is in it or not. And if that's the case, Muller is going to be able to get so much for the side of Lyra.
And I don't see a lot of Kleds over here in North America, but I'm excited to see how Kled works in the comp. I want to see the Kled get ahead, and that's going to be the sealing of the deal for SRG today. For KMG, what is the win condition for KMG as we enter into the game?
So the winning condition for KMG is probably going to be the late game and looking to force SRG into those 5 versus 5 fights, but maybe using their potential to being able to rush down this Baron. Although they don't have a strong Baron comp, Xayah does manage to do it quite fast in the late game, which he's hit about 3 to 4 items. So probably and almost definitely looking to force out the summoner spells from Muller here, like the TP, and really looking to put a lot of pressure onto SRG here. But as we get into the opening stages of the game, I have to ask the chat once again, because I promised Karim I would do this. Hashtag KMG win or hashtag SRG win. What about you, Hat? What are you going for?
All right, so I want the spicy Allstars to take game 1. I'm going to see Lyra take game 2 and game 3. Those are my predictions. As we enter the game, we see a nice little A nice little invade into the dragon pit.
Oh, a
They're
cute
just
invade
gonna bait
coming
him
in
out
here.
I'm excited to see where this goes.
We're going to see a 5 versus 5 at level 1. And I have to ask you extremely quickly why this is going down. Who has the better potential of winning a 5 versus 5 at level 1?
Allstars have the... oh, they see him.
I don't know if they're in vision, actually. Your vision is so limited, about maybe 5 to 10 teamos away, and that probably didn't see it. But if they can get an early pick here onto Lodberg, they could really damage the potential of this SRG. But it looks like they're just going to back off and go back to farming. Recalls coming in here for the Vladimir, and oh, Hat, we both wanted to see it. Early things, pre-1 minute, heart in our mouths. But probably quite standard things are going to be looking to come through here as the pings come down. As you can see, they're trying to put priority onto defending these buffs. Pixel Ward probably going to come through from Killcore on the top side.
Yeah, I want to see that Pixel Ward, but something that I think we'll have to pay attention to
Flash!
is Grathwall.
And I hate to interrupt, but Ivan using his flash extremely early on in the jungle, and that's going to leave him so vulnerable. A complete misclick there.
They don't know that.
But they don't know that. That's very
true. They still think
true.
Ivan has his flash.
Very sneaky Ivan they have here, Hat, in the jungle. It's very realistic.
Realistic. You're right. Okay, so there's a little blunder there. Old school guy, I think, is now going to have to safe clear. I don't think you're going to see a lot of invade potential from the Ivern, unfortunately. But that's something you would wanted to see if you're Ivern. You're going to take your first buff, and we see him kind of hovering around the bot lane, trying to catch Lurdberg and Grathwall out before level 2.
Kryder could be ready to answer this. He is on the scuttle buff. Root's going to come through onto the Lucian. It's going to be nothing. Wrath is going to knock up Yako. He's going to fall extremely low. Lordberg, Ignite's going to come down. First Blood is going to fall for the side of Grathwall. Pressure is going to be coming through. Also, guys, pretty much running for his life. He's going to get locked up, but Godberg is going to flash aggressively. He's trying to get damage down. And the pause is going to come through for SRG.
So, the best possible situation kind of happened for the side of Allstars because you gave the kill to Grathwall instead of Lodberg, and so Grathwall is sitting on that first blood gold, but it's way better right now. So the silver lining is the Blitzcrank has money, which can be good and bad. I'm seeing it as good because we are playing to get Lodberg fed. Something that is interesting and something I think the disconnect was caused by Killcore, and so we'll be back into the game shortly. Something that's interesting in this fight is that Lodberg blew with Flash, while Akiko blew both summoners, and so that means Kreiner, as soon as he hits level 3, that's straight gank potential coming through the bot lane.
I'm definitely I mean, as we're locked on the screen here and seeing Akiko and Lodberg aiming at each other and Akiko being damaged, I mean, I can expect an auto heal coming out from Lodberg here just to be on the safe side. But there is so much just going on in the early stages of this game, which was completely unbelievable from my perspective, honestly. And it's so hard for me personally to keep track of the junglers in this early stage of the game and really taking into consideration about this level 1 skirmish in the bot lane. But if you look at the minimap, you look at the positioning for the Sejuani, pathing maybe incorrectly. She was clearing that scuttle grab and did see the Ivan come in, but do you think maybe she could have answered this gank?
Well, I believe you could have answered it, but there's no way of knowing that the Ivan... Well, there is technically a way of knowing. If you're Grathwall and you use your ward on your side brush instead of Pixel at 50 seconds, you do have that vision pressure. And so, while I don't believe Allstars knew that, Old School Guy waited. He was patient and he was ready. Unfortunately, the team fight didn't go in his favor as of yet. And so I'm more impressed. Even though the Sejuani's pathing, I believe, was off, I believe the Sejuani still has a great path later because they're all stuck on the bot side and they do have that vision in the top side river. And so they'll be able to see if we do see Old School Guy actually go to that top side. I don't know how long those wards will last, however. So that's my condition if Sejuani's pathing was better. But if they can grab both scuttles, that's a GG win.
And what's one thing to really important to note here, Hat, is Old School Guy used that flash earlier, and that could punish him.
Right.
I mean, if Lord Godberg picks up this kill on Akiko, he's going to be really easily allowed to rotate up and probably pick up that kill as well. I mean, the cooldown of Rocket Fist, if it's hit, which it did, is about 13 seconds. And honestly, I believe it's been way over that. So if he can just get a hook and lock down this Ivan, that could be 2 really early kills towards the size of Lodberg. And getting off that really early pressure into Akiko, we'll probably look to shove him under the tower as well as denying EXP. And they had that level 2. I mean, is there potential that maybe Old School Guy could have stolen the EXP off of KMG Allstars?
I think there's the potential is there, but as you're talking about it, Lodberg securing this kill is a reality. And so if I'm Akiko, I'm planning what I'm gonna buy when I get back to base with what resources I have.
So 3 CS, roughly about 45 gold in the early game, depending on what's happening you kill.
He's about banked
Health
around
yeah.
147 currently. So yeah, a health bot. Maybe a control ward.
Oh, maybe a control ward, yeah, prevent that gank coming in level 2 from the Kryner. I mean, although he's part of the top side, I mean, honestly, I'm looking at the setup that we have here, and I keep thinking it's the Sejuani that's ganked early. I keep thinking the Ivan belongs to SRG. I'm just completely baffled that they've managed to pull off this 2 versus 3 in a position of which maybe Old School Guy just shouldn't have ganked.
I think Old School Guy, maybe Old School Guy thought he had his flash. I have no idea. However, Old School Guy has no escape. He's currently Grathwall's on him, and so as we wait a little more time for Killcore to get back in the game, we're kind of I want to. So when the fight ends, let's say my prediction is that Old School Guy gets out, has to base. If you're Kryner in the situation, you have free roam of the jungle. What do you do with it?
So I really want to see Kryner punish the top side of Old School Guy, maybe invading to pull off that blue buff steal, and it would hurt the potential of the early game Ivan here. As you know, he doesn't have a lot of mana regen to come through with just the Hunter's Talisman, but if it's going to be a good read from Kryner, I would just like to see the invade at the top side and stealing away some camps and preventing the scaling of this Ivan, as you do quite rely on him for quite a lot of the damage. And apparently we're ready here. Game's going to become unpaused, and that is going to be a kill. I did predict it, the auto heal. And more action is going to be happening here. Grath is going to be trying to get the kill on Old School Guy. He's just going to have to walk away, not having that flash as we mentioned earlier. He's going to get the knock up. Dash going to come through, and as we predicted, the double kill for Lodberg.
That is perfect. If I'm Lodberg right now, I'm sitting on about 1,100 gold, and this is where I back, and I pick up my first item into the new Lucian build, which I kind of want to see in 9.3. I can see a Bork being picked up by Lucian, but also you don't really need a Bork unless you're Space Viking. So unless you're going after Urgot in the mid lane. So I'm really excited to see how Lodberg builds.
And so luckily for Akiko, it was the cannon wave that crashed into the tower, so not too much EXP going to be lost there. Going to be able to find himself at level 2 and maybe the level 3 before Lodberg finds it, but all these summoner spells being down in the bot lane, Yakko managed to hold on to that flash and the ignite. So
yes, Yakko got out of there by dying. That was the only way that was those were secured.
See a potential back coming on the mid lane from Kryner. He's going to get locked up by Killcore here. The pressure is going to be coming down. One more auto attack on the Viking, and he is going to be able to get off that Frost. Frost is going to be stacked. Shield going to come from the Old School Guy. Maybe return damage, but he might have turned into a fight he didn't want to turn into. Both flashes available for SRG, and they are going to pick it up. An amazing Arctic Assault coming in. More pressure in, and as we talked about, the Ivan using that flash early, another 2 kills towards the side of SRG, and Old School Guy might have been a misclick, but he's being extremely punished for that early flash in the jungle.
Yeah, you hate as a jungler to be this down in farm this early. Sejuani's level 4, Ivan's level 2. Your camps are getting picked up. Space Viking has blown the TP, but might have a kill on Kryner.
He used teleport. He is going to pick up this kill onto Kryner. I do hope Arctic Assault's going to come through and get him away. And that is really unfortunate. You have to feel for Viking there. If we would have picked that back up, he would have had some hope in the bot lane as we see Graf just pushing off Akiko. And it's like we talked about, Graf having that priority in the bot lane. The potential of being able to grab either one of these champs in the bot lane and be able to just burst them down with Godberg's potential.
And I was really excited to see Dunkmaster Putin try to push out the Kled more. However, Kled does have that priority until Vladimir gets, to kill threat level 6 and also with a little bit more items under his belt. And especially since we don't see the Vladimir with Predator or Electrocute, it's a little harder to push out lanes. So I'm excited to see how Allstars decide they want to go into the mid game, because early game right now, completely obliterated for Allstars, that they need to recoup. Ivern's a quick and easy farm. However, you have to keep Kreiner out of your jungle.
A 3,000 gold deficit already for Allstars. 1,000 gold on the Lucian early on is really going to be a hard punishment for Akiko and Yakko in the spot lane. And the pressure that's going to be able to be thrown out as we see the Rocket Fist not landing there for Grath. A flash aggressively is going to come in, and it's extremely questionable play. The shield is going to come down onto Yakko. Crush is going to come up, but this probably isn't going to lead to much. Probably going to lead to Lordberg getting a few more kills under his belt as we see pressure just being thrown out. Piercing Light's going to come through, just deal so much damage, shredding through Akiko. 2 more kills onto Lord Godberg, and this is just going south for the side of KMG Allstars.
Oof. I mean, it's before 7 minutes. If you're Ivern in this position, you want to make those risky plays, but when you're playing League of Legends, you have to understand that some mistakes that commonly are made is that when you're behind, you want to make the risky plays to grab a little bit of ground back. I believe a level 3 Ivern going against a level 5 Lucian and a level 4 Blitzcrank, that doesn't give you much reward. Even if you do get that double kill, what do you lose across the map? And so it's having to weigh those options. Like, what am I going to gain? And is the gain bigger than the risk? And it wasn't in that matchup. They just played it wrong. Yak decided that, hey, I'm going to flash for this kill before the engage even started, opening himself up to give a kill. Some may call it a power int. Hyper?
Now, I've been told had to calm down and not blame players for their play, but it was definitely questionable coming through from the Ivan, but you can understand the ideology behind it. But when you're putting your carry up by 2,000 gold in the early game, you've got some questions to ask KMG Allstars, but they have to look at the positives and the silver lining, as we like to mention, and that silver lining is the 15 CS that Mola has up on Putin here.
You're right, and if, like I said prior, if you're Killcore in the Anivia, you really want to farm out the lane. You can poke, and you can like give Urgot the pressure in the lane because you have a Sejuani, and that gank is really powerful, especially with Anivia's wall. However, if Allstars are going to get back in the game, they're going to do it through mid lane, but they're going to do it through mid lane without any jungle pressure. And so if I'm Allstars right now, I'm pushing this to late game, and late game's the only way that we can win this. So beyond that, do you have any other hot tips? If you were Allstars coach right now and you could speak in their ear, what would you suggest for them to do?
So if I was Allstars, I'd also almost definitely be telling old school guys to farm up, get to that level 6 mark, don't look for engage, and mostly just focus on punishing the vision from SRG, as they're not really in a position where they can consider themselves ready to fight. And although they do have this huge CS lead on the Urgot in the mid lane, that's only accumulating to a 100 gold deficit for Killcore here. And that's because of the 2 assists they managed to pick up in the bot side jungle, if you remember the 2 kills picked up for Kreiner. If I was the coach of KMG Allstars, sorry, I would almost definitely be saying, try to kill the tempo a little bit, as we see the Rocket Fist going to come here. Power Fist as well is just going to knock him up. Lotberg just going to get another kill. Culling's going to come through and is almost definitely going to kill off Yakko. And just another 2 kills coming through, and just... We talked about this early pressure that Grath will have on the Blitzcrank, and he's really shown up. We've had our eye on him, and it's almost definitely that he's telling Akiko, I'm in charge of this lane. This is my lane. If you want to CS, you're not even going to be able to do that on the tower.
Nope. And I think that's something, the mistake Allstars is making, is their wave management when they're behind needs to improve. Because this is definitely going to be first tower bot even after the next waves crash. Because even if they do manage their wave properly now, they're so far behind that it's not even going to matter, because they're always going to get free shots on the bot tower. And so I'm waiting for the damage control to kick in. I'm waiting for their risk management to go, oh yeah, so we're not going to take any risks because we don't have the health, we don't have the levels, and we don't have the items to take risks right now if you're the Allstars.
And the unfortunate thing for KMG Allstars about giving away this early lead. We could see a potential solo kill coming on the mid lane. The shield is going to come from the Ivan Flash defensively from Viking. He is going to get that pillar down. Glacial Prison is almost wasted. The Flash aggressively is going to come in from Kryner. They're going to try and lock down Old School Guy. The ultimate's going to slow him down. Arctic Assault. Can it be found here for Kryner? Is going to get the Frost Blast off. And this is, in the end, going to be a kill picked up as we almost see a solo kill in the top lane for Putin. And this matchup almost definitely favouring the range in the top lane for Putin about being able to force off Mola. And he is going to pick up that early Tiamat, trying to get the push going and look for potential roams. But so far, this early game, 12-0, and just more
running
pressure
up to
being thrown
punch.
down.
You know, you hate to see that.
Just, you know,
But it's Blitzcrank things, you know.
you see a Blitzcrank running towards you, he's going to grab you, he's going to slap you. He's going to
just
slap
gonna
you
slap
with his
you.
noodle, you know.
Exactly. And he's already built those mobies at First Blood coming in. And so if I am All-Stars, I need to force an objective. And I need to force an objective with my entire team there. We need to teleport back on Space Viking on that Urgot and get the 2 solo lanes into the team fights and maybe get that shutdown gold on Lodberg right away. So I'm looking for a deep ward from Yak Yak. And I'm looking for it to be punished with a teleport as they try to take first tower in the bot lane. I think that gets them a little gold reprieve. However, if I'm Lyra, I'm telegraphing that right away. I'm trying to protect my bot lane and protect the lead I currently have. Hyper.
And honestly, although it does seem like a really good play, and although this Vladimir is in such a good position, as we could potentially be seeing the solo kill coming in here for Mola, Pool is going to be forced. Tide to Blood is going to be forced as well. As we see the rocket grab going to come down in the bot lane, Lord Goldberg is going to catch him out again. So much action going down on the map, and I mean, although I do agree with the deep vision being able to come down on the bot lane for Yakko and seeing if they can punish that, do you take a risk? I mean, if Lord Goldberg does, if Lordberg does pick up that kill, Glacial Pressure is going to come down in the top lane, being interrupted slowly. Mola is going to pick that one up. And I was just about to say, if Lordberg was to pick up the kill onto Putin, that's going to be a lot more gold funneled towards this Lucian. I can respect the play now.
Yeah, I could have respected it if they weren't losing objectives actively. I did enjoy, if you are Sejuani and you have your ult, you're a perfect dive bait because top lane isn't safe. No lane is safe for Sejuani in this current meta right now. Because against the Sejuani in this current meta.
Yeah.
And especially when Lyra is up, when SRG is up this much in the game, they have control over the entire map. You can see Kryner is zoning Old School Guy out of the jungle as the dragon pickup, first Ocean Drake of the game, is picked up for SRG. I'm only seeing SRG coming through right now. I'm not even seeing the gold totals going in the way of anyone on KMG All-Stars. So for me, it seems like it's snowballed out of control, but if we do collect at least one of those or 2 of those bounties, I can see item pickups going in the favor of All-Stars. So there's a little hope as we go into another pause, but right now, I'm going to have to see some big, smart, big brain plays coming out from All-Stars if they want to come back into the game. And
so far, SRG have really been showing us that they're punishing the pathing of Old School Guy here. You saw Kryner pushing it into the top side of the jungle and spotted away that Ivan, and so instantly SRG were on the bottom side and picking up that dragon, and it's really going to help out this pushing potential of the Aniviana of the Anivia, and helping her to hold down that mid lane tower as plates not even fallen yet, and where you can already see Lofberg and Graith are both going to be looking to push the mid lane. I can't find my words today, Hat.
No,
Can't find
okay.
my words
They're
today.
looking to push that mid lane.
I'm going to be looking to push the mid lane. Yeah, that's it's going to be a smart play from SRG. They just want to be able to get these outer towers and look to push vital objectives such as Rift Herald, and probably going to be one of their main pickups of the game, and is just going to be able to help further extend this lead. But an important thing I want to ask you, Hat, is what do you think about inhibitor takes before 20 minutes?
Oh, goodness. I think it's a possibility. I think they'll be stretching a little too much, unless, of course, we don't see a good rotation coming in from KMG. The All-Stars can rotate, however, they have no vision in their bot side jungle, so it is entirely possible for SRG to come into the bot lane and just keep steamrolling. If I'm Akiko right now, I'm asking my top laner to switch right now so I can have a little bit more safety in that top lane and a little more presence around the objectives. Because Dragon has already been taken, that switch right now would be a little beneficial. And if Dunkmaster Putin can even just stave off some hooks and some dashes in from Lodberg, I think it's a good play. However, it's a reserved play. And we're already seeing
Pressure is going to be coming
in
through. Rocket Grab's going to go down. Piercing Light is going to just absolutely shred Putin. And Graf says, hello, Putin. Welcome to the bot lane of SRG.
And that's what the lane swap could have prevented. However, SRG was just a little bit more on the ball than Dunkmaster. I'm just excited to see if SRG gets a little big for their britches here and decides to make a mistake. And I don't know if that's possible at the moment.
I mean, when Kreiner, the Sejuani of SRG is pushing through the mid lane tower without giving a single damn, and the Urgot's almost definitely doing nothing, you got to really start asking some questions from KMG Allstars and seeing if they can shake this off and look to maybe go into game 2 with a fresh mindset and a fresh new composition, as this one has proven not to go the best for them and executed in a way of isn't the greatest, but a few misplays and a few micro plays have led to where we are now, and 15-0 for Lyra, and definitely in the driver's seat. As you were right, Hat, a very good analyzation there of the lane swap coming in and each of the individuals looking to put pressure, but teleport advantage is going to be on the side of Lyra, so we'll look to see how they use that effectively.
I'm interested to see how effective turtling Allstars
Glacial Friction is going to come down in the mid lane. So much damage funneled through, but Old School Guy, he is going to save Viking again, and so much pressure just being funneled down. Although he didn't get the kill, that's going to be a backforced and a potential for damage on the mid lane tower, as that is definitely going to be one of those bigger objectives to get in the early game, and Killcore is going to pick it up.
Exactly. And
the flash aggressively, I do apologize once again, had so much action happening on the map. Culling is going to come through as well. Flash aggressively from Goldberg, but he's going to pick it up. A Kiko with the outplay on Lordberg. And it's these little micro mistakes. A Kilko, I love it. But it's these micro mistakes, Hat, that we talked about. And it's these little things that, although you may flash aggressively, although you may be 8-0 and 2 up, it can really punish you. And Kiko's going to pick up 1,000 gold, and 1,000 gold is the equivalent to 3 daggers, or as we see more action happening in the bot lane. Not going to get time to elaborate. Multiple fights going on. Yako is going to fall again. Egg is going to get popped for Killcore. He might be able to res and get out of this one. Flash is going to come in defensively. He's going to get stunned up. He's going to get the kill onto Putin here. Cool Guy's going to run down and get the shield off, but so much action. And it's like we mentioned, you just don't get time to breathe, do you?
No, you don't. But at the same time, well, you don't. I do. I just breathe it here all the day. However, you get really tense in these fights. So we did see Lodberg go down. So the bounty's down to 500. Something that is also benefiting the Allstars, besides picking up 2 bounties, is that the change to farm bounty gold means that the differentials between the farms of the entire team divided by 4 is what they have to reach before they start accruing a bounty for farm. And so Allstars can farm up safely without getting a bounty on them, which is something in 9.3 that I think is really beneficial, especially when you're behind, so that you don't have to get a bounty even though you are so far behind. They did push the gold lead back to almost to 10,000 from the side of SRG. However, it's going to take a lot more of those plays and mistakes from SRG if Allstars want to get back in this game.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, you're never really in a position until you're at the Nexus Towers and you're 3 inhibitors down and super media's pushing in until you can say a game's really over. And mistakes can be made. And Lyra have showed us that with the flash aggressively from Lodberg and using that heal as well, leaving him really vulnerable. And you know, it takes one pick for the side of Allstars before maybe they can look towards a big objective like Baron, and we have been shown, and I do repeat myself again, we have been shown, is Yako is going to get caught out here, is going to be forced to flash. But yeah,
I think I want to see after the game is how many times Yakuo has flashed, because I think he might set a record number of flashes for the game.
A record number. Is there ever a time where Yako doesn't? Or does have his flash up? Or does
Probably when
his
it's off
flash up?
cooldown, but as soon as it's off cooldown, the flash is used. We see Rift Herald, Shelly, pushing through that top lane with the pushing power of Loberg and Grathwall. I think
really
they're
like
going
this.
to take a lot more.
I love this from SRG. They're putting pressure on multiple lanes, forcing space, or forcing the answer from KMG in multiple lanes, and it's split pressure, and they can win both of these 2 versus 3s. And really, KMG are not really in a position to answer.
No, KMG have to, as I was saying before a big fight broke out, they have to really turtle in because right now they don't own their jungle, and so they have no idea where SRG is coming from. So they're forfeiting dragons. They're getting caught out by Grathwall here.
Oh, you don't want to be getting caught out by Grapple. Once again, Yakko is not going to have that flash. Dance of Feathers is going to come through defensively for a Kiko, but that's going to be another kill picked up. Fear Beyond Death is going to be thrown out, but it's going to lead to absolutely nothing. Great Ball is just too goddamn tanky, and we see the 1v1 in the bot lane going off. Putin may be able to hold for himself, but look towards your top lane, Putin, because I don't think it's going to be up for too much longer.
Yeah, the top lane turret's going down along with Inhib as Space Viking gets deleted right there.
I mean, do we really have to say deleted? I mean, is that flaming, do you think?
I feel like when you say deleted, it's so much more colorful than killed. I don't want to really hurt Space Viking's feelings.
Yeah, we don't
however,
want to say...
I do want to encourage him to play better.
We don't want to say gratefully outplayed, destroyed.
Gratefully outplayed. Oh, we should think of antonyms for this.
Oh, Anton. Oh, I love it. I love it.
However, what you're seeing from the Allstars is something that they needed to pace themselves out better through the game. Obviously, the aggressiveness coming from Old School Guy should have waited until around like level 5. They should have safely farmed it out. They might have lost the farm game, but even if you only play for farm and against farm, they still would have had a better chance at this point in time as we hit 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's so much answered aggression from KMG All-Stars is really going to be the deciding factor in this game, and the punishment that's going to be hitting Lyra so hard, that it's going to be hitting KMG All-Stars so hard. Sorry, I can't find my words today, Hat, but it's very clear to see who's in the driver's seat.
They're
Yes.
got to be around here somewhere.
Okay, well, maybe look in the top drawer where I left them.
Oh, yeah.
Rocket Fist is going to come through, is going to pick off Viking here. Kreider throwing out that Glacial Prison and says, you know, I just wanted to throw it because it's off cooldown. You know, like Yakko's using his flash.
The damage from Muller in the bot lane.
Emo Plague will be dropped, and Tides of Blood is going to be able to return some of that damage. Muller is going to be quite low. One auto attack, and he's off of Skarl, and can he return this damage? He is quite vulnerable, but he's going to be going on the aggressive. Pool is going to come through. Shield's going to come through. Flash almost extremely defensively going to come through. He might be able to get back on Skarl. Muller being able to pick that one up. Muller's going to die. What is it today with me? What is it today, Pat?
Well, today I think is just a beautiful outplay day, and the English language is outplaying your right to speak it.
Ah, almost definitely, yes.
It's an outplay. It's not that you're doing this poorly. It's just an outplay.
A Putin outplayed by English.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Putin's that good.
He's that good that I can't even find words for him.
That's fair. So as we come in, we see an inhibitor taken from the top of Allstars, and so that's a vulnerable lane that they're going to have to try.
And I mean, Viking's going to get grabbed again. He's going to be forced to flash defensively for probably the 4th time in this match, I'm guessing. And
I mean, it's got to be up there. We're at 20 minutes. You only can flash so much at 20.
Well, it's a 5-minute cooldown, especially if you've got the runes going, but KMG also is looking to go on the aggressive here, but it's just going to get instantly punished. So much damage is going to be funneled through here from Lyra. Teleport is going to be coming through from Muller. He says, we're going to siege mid lane. This is our base, not yours.
And Muller did lose Baron buff, but thankfully his entire team's there to kind of help him out. The best part about SRG's team right now is that they can just poke you from afar, especially with the Anivia ult coming in, and the damage is just
the
insane.
Black Glacial Prison was absolutely perfect.
Let's think of another word.
Think of another word. Where's the word?
From his base.
Killcore is going to pick up the kill easily onto Putin there, as so much damage is going to be funneled through from this culling. It's going to absolutely shred through Yakko. Viking falling, Old School Guy falling, and Akiko is left in his base. pretty scared, I'm guessing, of this composition draft here from Lyra, and they're going to look for the kill. They're going to get it.
God.
A clean sweep, and Lyra looking convincing.
Lyra just dismantles the offensive pressure that old school guy and Allstars tried to create there. Something that I want to see from Allstars next game, which I guarantee you they have the ability to do, is pick towards their winning lanes, and you can leave bot lane on that island as long as bot lane knows that the pressure isn't going to come to them, so they can play a little more safe and manage the wave control towards their tower. I wouldn't ban the Blitzcrank, but I would be wary of it and try not to pick the Janna where you don't have that engage just in case your jungler of old school guy wants to come and engage. You need that follow-up, and Janna really isn't good at that. And so their next draft phase, I think Allstars can win it in the draft, but they need to be a little bit more careful on how they pick their picks. Piper.
A very inconsistent draft from KMG All-Stars. I couldn't really get a grip on what they were aiming to do. It looked like that they were playing a somewhat of a protect the carry comp, or just protect whatever is bed comp and look to funnel throughout that lane. And old school guy maybe trying to put the funnel onto Akiko in the early was the biggest punishment for KMG All-Stars. And Lyra with the 2 versus 3, I mean, Lodberg and Grath just played that absolutely incredibly in the bot lane. Grath not dying a single time, really showing the power of the Blitzcrank. And although it's not the most meta of picks, it showed the potential of it in such a defensive lane of KMG All-Stars.
Yeah, and if I'm KMG, I might want to ban that Lucian, but then you fear the Ezreal coming out. But I don't really want to fear an Ezreal at this point, because an Ezreal is a safer lane right away than a Lucian is. And so you might see all support bans coming in from the side of Allstars. I'm interested to see if they decide to have a more engaged jungler. I want to see Halo Blitz Jin Zhao coming out from old school guy. I've seen it before. I want to see his Pantheon come out. I want to see J4 even come into the mix, because if he wants to do that hard engage, those are the picks that he's going to have to go for. And I believe it works better with his playstyle.
And I'd really like to see the early jungle potential being a lot more successful for the side of KMG All-Stars. Obviously, it wasn't the greatest there, and they probably threw away what was the potential of an early lead. But I also want to find this play-by-play caster being able to catch his English.
Oh, yeah. No, sometimes I found that if play-by-play casters are in game and they can't find their English, they need to farm up a little bit more gold in lane before they're allowed to buy that English.
Oh, right. And how much gold is that, do you think? About the same as a Trinity Force?
No, it's a little less. It's about 332.
332.
With all the previous items purchased, you get a 1 gold discount.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
So
you have to build up to it, but eventually you get a reward of not having to farm 1 less gold.
Definitely. Oh, yes. Well, there you go. Farming for that 1 gold is all the difference, and getting that 3 kills early in the bot lane was all the difference there for KMG and Lyra. And as we go into game 2 here, what composition do you think KMG need to smack back in the face of Lyra?
Well, I think they need to pick up a more early engage comp. So something you want to see along with the junglers I'd previously mentioned for Allstars, with the J4, with the Jin Zhao, even Vi right now would be okay. So I want to see a priority around jungle. I want them to punish a Sejuani if the Sejuani gets picked up from SRG. And then I want to see more map presence and map rotation coming from the side of Allstars. So their Vladimir and their Urgot pick were okay. I wasn't against those picks. But around the bot lane, I want to see a little bit more ability. If they can pick up the Lucian, great. If they pick up a Kai'Sa, that's even better. And try to get one of those tank supports early. So I would see Allstars picking their bot lane first, just out of safety, for an Ezreal Tahm Kench, for example.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the defensive lane from KMG All-Stars definitely didn't work out. And I really like the aggressive pick from Grafe. I really like the drafting as a whole from Lyra. They identified what the strength of the composition of KMG All-Stars was, and they put a counter to it in the bot lane, something that could completely just prevent and put a hold onto that scaling of Desire. And it was performed so well that KMG could never really get back to their feet.
Yeah, they couldn't find anything to stand on because SRG was just removing all of the platforms underneath All-Stars' legs. And I really want to see just hard aggressive laning, and I want Allstars to make it to the mid game with at least, and this is just at least, a gold deficit of like 500, maybe 1,000. I think they can manage a game past that, and I've seen them be able to take games away as long as they're within range to do so, because the smart plays of the mid to late game is something I feel they can do, because you are more able to have less risk when you do those hard engages. And I believe we can finally see Yak's splashes put to good use.
And I want to be able to see KMG bring one of these compositions into the late game, because so far they haven't been able to have a very clean early game. They've been punished in more than one scenarios, and if they can perhaps pull off this composition to the late, do you believe that they have the mechanics and the synergy to be able to team fight as a 5-man unit?
I think they do. The communication is the piece that I'm a little curious on. SRG is subbing in Magic into the mid lane.
Oh.
I believe, or they're subbing in Magic in general. So I'm excited to see how SRG plays with Magic. I'm excited to see if the Allstars can punish what's going on with this new mid laner. I think it's mid lane. I think Magic plays mid lane. And so again, it's with the communication. Can Allstars rotate, and can Allstars play to the map presence and communication that Lyra is showing them?
And I'd like to think that they could, because, you know, you're a team, you've worked together, you've been together for some time, you understand the strengths of each of your individual players. But in the first game, we unfortunately didn't get the performance that maybe we would have wanted from KMG. But hopefully, I'm looking towards the second game, and honestly, I'll be really happy if they picked one up for themselves.
Me too. Actually, Magic will be going into the jungle. So we're going to see a new jungler against old school guy right now. And I'm excited to see how that works. I'm excited to see who the first pick is. If you are Allstars right now, what's your priority pick?
If I'm Allstars, I put my priority pick towards the jungle. I mean, the jungle is almost definitely is a catalyst of what will help your solo laners scale up into the late game, and maybe put some priority on that Sejuani, or put some priority on some hard CC junglers like a Zac, or, like you said, the Halo Blade Xin Chao. But it's definitely something that will help them scale up into the late game and give some priority in the mid. Have someone who's maybe just a bit fed to really carry them in.
And as we get into the draft right now, we'll see the Darius banned out from Lyra.
Unfortunately, I cannot see the draft.
Well, that's fair.
That is fair. I'm clicking that link, my good friend.
So as we see the ban come out, this is the Darius ban coming out from Dunkmaster against Dunkmaster Prudent. Gotta respect the name. The Lucian ban from Allstars. Do not want to see Lodberg on that Lucian again, and that makes sense. Lodberg really popped off, especially with the help from old school guy. The Lissandra ban from Lyra. Really trying to prevent the lockdown from Allstars, prevent that team comp. I'm excited to see if Allstars pick up a Galio. The ban from Allstars is Braum. And let me know, Hyper, when you get back into the draft so I can stop talking.
I will almost definitely let you know. But
perfect. So we got the Braum ban coming out from the Allstars, and then the Morgana, respectively, from Lyra. So I'm excited to see if Lyra picks out that Thresh, although Thresh is banned from the Allstars. And as we get into this first pick, I'm excited to see Lyra. First pick, Caitlyn. Tell me what your feelings on that.
First pick, Caitlyn. For what side is that?
For SRG.
For SRG. So obviously they want to put priority into those disengaged champions. I mean, I really would have liked to have seen an Ezreal, as you know. It's very clear that the communication between KMG All-Stars isn't great, and they obviously don't really know how to work as a unit to shut down and disengage ADC. So Ezreal maybe being the counter pick, not only for the lane, but also for just the team in general.
I agree. KMG All-Stars picking up the Urgot and Vladimir. Like I said before, it might be a caster curse, but they did do well in those lanes. Lyra picked up the Lee Sin and Anivia. They threw their jungler in, and they're just like, hey, try to counter Lee Sin. Try to counter our early game. Show us what you could do in the jungle, old school guy. All-Stars picking up the Ivern once more.
I'm in, and I see that Ivern pick, and I really don't know if I agree with it. They need an early jungler to be able to shut down the pressure of this Lee Sin, and honestly, KMG, I think they've already outdrafted themselves.
I think KMG, unless they flex the Ivern as a support role, that's a possibility. They're banning the Janna, which I don't think was the problem. but I appreciate the call out. Although, you know, Janet Caitlyn is pretty strong, especially if you throw a trap underneath a tornado. Lyra is deciding that, hey, if you're going to engage up on my Caitlyn, that's not going to happen. They haven't even picked their support yet, although you could support a Divya. But they are, I think, Lyra's just playing comfort picks right now. Because SRG going into the game, they have nothing to lose except one game. And if they roll over, like, they can just pick a better comp this time. I'm curious to see how Allstars plays within their bot lane now, as those are their last 2 picks.
Yeah, and like I said again, I don't know if I really agree with the Ivan jungle. I mean, they can have early pressure as we see the Jinx picked here, and it's like I mentioned earlier to you, Hat, we're seeing a lot of priority put around these AD carries.
And especially, you know, ones that revolve around crit in this draft specifically. Caitlyn is the OG crit AD carry. From far away, you can do damage. You don't even need rapid fire cannon. We see the Leona pick coming out from SRG. That's just that lockdown so that you can bring that rune. Oh, a hover Teemo. Hover Teemo. Is it the meme?
Oh, it can't be. It can't be. And if we see a Teemo picked here, it's definitely going to be hashtag Teemo win or hashtag KMG win. And they troll us. They pick the Kled and they have us by the grasp of their pinky finger.
And I think the Kled is still a good pickup. You did see the Kled kind of falter for Lyra later in the game. So if Allstars can not have such a poor early game, I believe they can punish the Kled pick from Mueller. However, they're going to have to get past early game. And so the Lulu Jinx I can see working. And as long as Ivern farms up and doesn't get countered by this Lee Sin just by warding, I think Allstars still have a good draft, but they need to not focus on the hard engage and they need to farm to mid game. And it becomes interesting. And Lyra, they don't have the engage of the Lucian, but they still have a pretty strong bot lane considering Leona's level 3.
Yeah, Leona level 3 is going to be something that almost definitely punishes the side of KMG All-Stars, but Lyra running a very hard pick comp by the looks of it, at least in being able to make those plays, and Leona with that solar flare is definitely going to be a very difficult thing for KMG to deal with, and if they reach the late game and they're playing around this Jinx pick with the crit items, does Wraith have the potential to pick off Akiko?
I think...
Or did I say that wrong?
Breathwall,
I didn't say
I think
that wrong.
Breathwall can pick up Akiko pretty easily because Akiko is not on a Caitlyn, for example. Like,
yeah.
As Jinx, you lack a little bit mobility unless your passive is procced, unless you're in a frenzy. And so with Lulu, that's supposed to help, especially with the polymorph. Lulu is probably one of the best champions in the game. Last time I saw Allstars play Lulu, they kind of went off. Yakko decided that that was his game, and so I'm excited to see that repeat. It's a very safe bot lane from Allstars, but that's what I said last game, so I'm curious to see if they actually play safe, and if they are able to tell the jungler of Old School Guy, hey, we don't need an engage right now, we need you to farm up so that Daisy can come out and really do that damage.
And Daisy in the late game, especially when it's reached that level 3 mark, is and could be the deciding factor of a team fight, especially with the knock-up potential and the CC that Ivan could provide. But I do hope to see maybe a second item Ardent Sensor from the Ivan, really funneling ahead that Jinx and really putting a lot of priority onto her. But it's like we said, do KMG have the late game potential to be able to pull off this protect the carry composition of which they have running?
I think they do have the composition to pull it off, especially with Urgot in the front line and Ivern level 6 with Daisy. I think they have it, because if I replace Ivern with Annie and Tibbers, it's very much still I can focus on someone and lock them down, which really gives you, as the Jinx, as the carry, someone to lock onto, especially with the new crit builds that are going to be coming out. I'm curious to see what first item Jinx and Akiko decide that they're going to do. And I'm curious to see how SRG responds, because if Allstars get to mid game, it's anyone's game. But if they lose all their towers before 20, I'm sorry, but SRG just is outplaying you. And so I'm curious to see if KMG plays to mid game. And I think that's their win condition. After that, it's completely unknown because we haven't seen the All-Stars today get past mid-game.
And when you run a pick composition into a protect the carry composition, it's all about if the playmakers of the team, and the playmakers of course would be now Magic and Grafe, can get a pick onto Akiko, and it's all about at the same time if Yakko can protect the pick of Akiko, and he is going to be looking to favour this this Ignite in the bot lane, and I don't really know if I agree with it too much. Maybe the Exhaust being a better summoner spell for Yakko.
I agree. I think that when you go Ignite, you do have a little bit of more kill pressure, because I can see Yakko deciding that, hey, if Akiko is not going to get the kills, I'm going to get the kills. And Lulu still is very strong in that bot lane. And so as we enter the game, I'd like to see Exhaust, but I'd rather want to see Exhaust on Grathwall, in my opinion. You can knock him and get that Ignite in there, but if you want to give Lodberg the kills to get that the early item leads, Exhaust is where you have to go as Leona, because you're already there.
Leona as a champion can find herself being quite sticky to these ADCs, so I can understand the Ignite being a late game thing, but yeah, I mean, I almost definitely would favour the Exhaust in this matchup, but it's been bound to know that the Jinx will favour the Bloodthirster and the late game lifesteal items, so Ignite may be preventing all of that. With the shielding coming through from the Ardent Sensor from Ivern, you're going to need some type of reliable Grievous wounds on this Jinx to really shut her down in these late game team fights when you have so much shields and the Whimsy coming through and just the Ivern all up and protecting her with the late game redemptions, and you can really put so much emphasis on the amount of healing that's coming through here for KMG All-Stars, so maybe Ignite was the favourable summoner spell for Greyfall in the bot lane.
Yeah, thank you for that. I think, first of all, you're Leona. You don't even have to have Summoner spells sometimes.
Oh,
Leona's
you
really
just
strong. She's always been really strong, and so I'm excited to see if All-Stars can make it to the mid game. Something that, if they don't make it to the mid game, do you think, in your personal opinion, Hyper, that if same snowball early game happens for SRG, do you think that All-Stars learned from last game enough to bring it back?
So I'd like to hope that they do, and I'd like to hope that they can learn from the last game and at least hope that they play on the defensive, but if they don't, I mean, they look like such a composition, Lyra, that are really willing to punish the over-aggression when they have a lead and look to use that lead to get objectives, and it was so obvious that the last jungler, I forgot the name of him unfortunately, but he really managed to Pardon?
Griner, I believe.
Right, Griner. Oh, right, yeah. Well, there you go. That's a caster fault. But he really showed us.
That's why I'm here.
Oh yeah. Oh, you're here to help me. Thank you, Hat. But he really showed us that he was able to punish KMG All-Stars' overextensions when they didn't have a lead and was willing to get that dragon and really track the pathing of Old School Guy. And even though he was down, they didn't look to punish him, but to punish the objectives and to punish KMG All-Stars as a team.
And that's what you want to see. This is an objectives game. I mean, I grew up with this game, and I got to see it go from kills-based solo carry to objective-based and team-focused. And I think there's a lot of criticisms around that. You know, like if I'm carrying the game, I don't need to focus on objectives. And I think Lyra having the discipline to say, hey, no, we can punish the jungler, but we could punish them after we get the objective. Because that not only helps our team, but takes away more resources that All-Stars could use to get back into the game. And so I like the discipline. I'm curious to see if Magic is going to have the exact same discipline, because on Sejuani, it's just easier to do. But if you are Lee Sin, sometimes you are a little pick hungry. Sometimes you have the tendency to go, nah, I can land that Q. And it might go awry if you don't have vision. So I'm curious to see if Lyra still has the same tenacity and focus that they did last game.
You know, my mind might be telling me no, but my body is telling me yes. It's telling me yes. And as we go into game 2 here, I want to be able to say that Magic's body is telling him yes, and that he's really going to be the playmaker that SRG need going into this game 2. And with the pick composition from SRG, I'm definitely going to say that they have the favoured late and mid game, as well as probably just the early. I mean, in my opinion, they drafted so well here, but over to you, Hat. What do you think of the composition drafting from both teams? Do you think Lyra or All-Stars have it in the bag?
I think Lyra has it in the bag based on composition and play style. However, I could flip and say that if early game goes to Allstars, Allstars could make this interesting, especially if Allstars get a lead in 2 out of 3 lanes.
And now I look to you, chat. Hashtag Lyra in or hashtag Allstars win as we're looking to go into game 2 of SRG Lyra versus KMG Allstars, and a 5-man stack up in the bot lane bush could punish Graith here. He isn't looking to do anything as of yet.
I think they're just looking to see where they are. You will see that Magic is kind of creeping up to see if they have the 5 stack, and if they don't, to watch for, you know, this is why you run the line, to watch to see where the invade is coming from. I don't think Allstars should be in this position, but I'm excited to see what plays.
One resonating strike from Magic, and this whole 5-man stack is completely over. But,
actually, if Old School Guy just cues the bush, it's all over for Grathwall.
Ooh, that's very true too. They're gonna look to back off. Oh. Unfortunate. And maybe if they would have just walked out that bush, that probably could have just been an early flash forced from Graith, and could have been looked to as something to be punished by the side of Old School Guy. But getting those pixel brush wards,
I'm glad they're being safe. Honestly, I'll applaud that move. I'm glad they're a little safe. They can go right to lane now. They don't really have to help Old School Guy farm. Old School Guy, I really want to see him just grab all of his buffs. He knows they're there. They have the vision. And let's start a nice laning phase. I want to talk about the game, Hyper. I want to, like, get into it. I don't want early fights.
So what's really good here about the Ivan pick is that it allows for priority. As we see a bit of skirmishing going on here in the bot side jungle. Magic is going to be favouring that Cripple Tempest start, and he's going to get a Resonating Strike off. He's going to follow it up. Flash might just be forced here, but Ignite's going to come through. Another flash from Lordberg. Is the Ignite going to tick down? It's not. And so many Summoner spells forced for the side of Lyra. A misplay and something that's really going to favour the side of KMG Allstars.
If Old School Guy died there, I might be on the side of Lyra there, but like Old School Guy did the exact same play that he did last game, and Magic wasn't there. So he just walked into the bush and gave Old School Guy a little run for his money. But unfortunately, Lee Sin is a better level 1, and so I'm curious to see how Old School Guy fares with Magic in the jungle.
It was a perfect read as we see the engage coming in here from Grateful, and he's going to get off the second trap going to come down here. Logberg is looking to put so much pressure. Flash and force hit force from Akiko as Space Viking is trying to answer the invade from Magic. He's going to be absolutely shredding him. Stun's going to come down from kill score, and it's going to be looking to clear up this kill. First blood could be coming through. It's going to fall to Drugmaster Putin. A pixel perfect flash from Putin is going to secure first blood for KMG Allstars, and this is the start we wanted at.
We wanted it, however, I'm curious to see how the advantage is used, because we have the bot lane of Lodberg really pushing in, really being so confident against Yakko's Lulu. So we're going to see bot lane push in from SRG, but we're also going to see the rest of the map be punished, especially since Magic tried that early invade, was able to snatch the red buff. However, correct me if I'm wrong, now Dunkmaster Putin has a red buff against Mueller in the top lane, and that's only going to go Dunkmaster Putin's way.
Yeah, that's going to be so much poke potential just being able to be funneled out into Mueller here, and it's really just put KMG Allstars in such a good position here early on. I mean, teleport is going to be used by Viking to get back into lane early on there, but the bot lane looking to be in the favour, but Akiko looking to keep up in the farm and keep a positive mind, is in theory up on CS over Lodberg, and all these summoner spells used so early might just slow down the tempo of the game a bit.
I agree. I think that if they just wait out the summoner spells, Allstars is in the better position. However, Old School Guy is still down on farm. He's still going to have to get that up. With Dunkmaster Putin in trouble.
Gank coming in here on the top lane from Magic, and it is going to catch out Putin just a bit, but the pool did get him out there, and a bit of skirmishing going on in the top lane as well. I mean, Putin having that red buff will mean that he's going to be able to stay and use the blood transfusion to keep himself healthy in the top lane.
I agree. However, Dunkmaster Putin's flash is down, so I think we're going to see a little bit more ganks from Magic as Old School Guy comes to the bot lane.
The punish looked to be there for Old School Guy, and it was a good gank, but just really unfortunate for him that he didn't manage to find anything. Favouring the Oracle Lens over the early green ward for Old School Guy.
Yeah, no, you're going to want to clear out this vision. You're going to want to make sure that Magic doesn't have the option to go into his a vision area and just sit there and wait for Akiko and Yako to just step out of line. So Old School Guy is trying to baby that bot lane as much as they can, even at a farm advantage right now. Like I said, Ivern's a nice, easy clear. So he's able to babysit this lane. So when you play Ivern, it's just another support. And so you're basically just trying to support the rest of your lanes. As we see Magic try to secure the Krugs of Old School Guy.
Aggression is going to be going on in the top lane once again from Muller, and Putin not going to have that red buff, not going to be able to sustain as much as he did previously, but a gank is going to come in from Magic. He's going to get that ward hop off to bait out the pool, and it's going to be a kill picked up here from Muller. A really good technical micro play there from Magic to catch out Putin.
And what made that play work was Muller's tower aggro. The flash is already down. All he has is a Sanguine Pool, and Dunkmaster Putin did not have any other way out. And so,
aggression here from Graith isn't going to go answered there for the side of KMG Allstars. It's going to be another kill picked up for them. I mean, going to Graith, so once again, there is a bit of a silver lining there, but it means that they're going to be able to get the push off and potentially shove this under tower and deny some of the XP from Akiko and rushing that level 6 advantage that they want to get.
I agree wholeheartedly. I think when you have your lanes even as they are, punishing the farm lead, especially when you've just acquired kills, is the way you need to go. You also need to push up with your vision, as we see Grathwall doing. Pushing up, trying to see where Old School Guy is, trying to understand where the Ivern's pathing is, because if you're Magic right now, you technically can do, what they're doing right now, which is starting up Baron, because they have so much pressure.
And just a really good play here from the side of from the side of Lyra once again. Picking up this early Drake, it's going to be an Infernal, so it's going to have a lot of early pressure. Probably would have favoured the Ocean Drake a lot more for the Anivia in the mid lane. But nevertheless, it's going to be something for them to scale into and give them a bit of an advantage in the late game.
And with Infernal's the best Drake for auto attack champions such as Lodberg's Caitlyn and Muller's Kled. And so if you are, and this is just something, when you pick Ivern on the red side, you do have somewhat of a dragon priority if your bot lane is pushing out. And that's not what we saw. We're seeing like babysitting Ivern, and it didn't work, because with Grathwalls being able to just get that micro stun on you, especially on the ADC if Akio is just pressing up. I'm glad we're not seeing more fights before 10, but the lead for SRG right now is only going to increase.
At the moment, it's reaching that 600 gold mark, so nothing too big and too antagonizing for the side of KMG All-Stars. Almost definitely still on the side of this one, as we see Old School Guy just clearing out most of the vision from the side of SRG. He was caught out on a deep ward in the bot side near his Grump, so they have a fairly good idea, as we see Magic lurking in the bot side.
Yeah. And I think Magic's kind of understanding.
Oh, and Graith could be caught here. He's going to get stunned up. Solar Flare's going to come down. It's going to absolutely melt the health bar of Akiko. He's more than likely going to fall here to Lordberg. He's going to flash defensively. Norfolk on the flash aggressively. He's going to fall. More damage to be pushed through. And Graith is going to fall. A kill answered back. Warthog's going to come through. And see ya later, Yako. The snipe from Lordberg.
So what we saw there is Old School Guy played that really well by not dying. And that's the only way he played that really well. The reason for that is, well, I'm glad Akiko was able to secure a kill. You did it at the sacrifice of your support and lane pressure.
Chemoplague is going to come down here, but a solo kill for Muller in the top lane against Putin, and that's going to hurt so much. The wave's going to crash here, a 20 CS differential, and is going to pick up multiple tower plates. That is not what you want for the side of KMG All-Stars.
I think that's just that extra damage plus that no magic mantle coming in from Muller right away. He knows he can sustain off of Dunkmaster Putin, just as Dunkmaster Putin thinks he can sustain the other way around. Being a level up also helps, and the Conqueror, as soon as the Sanguine Pool is used, It's either the Conqueror is going to bait out the flash or it's going to bait out the pool, and I can hurt you under tower because I have Scarl. So the Kled pick really doing wonders against Dunkmaster right now. And if you are All-Stars, you wanted to pick 2 winning lanes, and currently you do not have 2 winning lanes. It's still arguable. I'd like to get your opinion on, do you think Urgot is winning this matchup right now?
I'd like to say yes. I mean, the gold differential as a whole in the mid lane is favoring the Urgot. 600 gold up in the early stages of the game is going to mean a bit of a lead, but once Sinivia picks up this blue buff from Magic, I mean, Killcore's going to have a lot of just pushing potential and roaming potential in the mid lane that could more than likely go unanswered from Viking, as we see more aggression going in here in the top lane from Muller, just absolutely melting through the Hellfire of Putin, and Putin has to say bye-bye, and Muller's here to stay, and
my question is, at what point do you switch lanes? At what point do you say, all right, I'm going to put Dunkmaster Putin in the mid lane, and the Space Viking is going to go and handle that Kled? Because, ooh, nice wall. But because Kled is very safe against this Vladimir, he can be punished by Space Viking, especially with the execute, and with how much damage Urgot does. And so if I'm All-Stars right now, that's my plan of attack, is I need to switch those lanes, because right now I'm only going to get punished if I don't manage my wave correctly.
Well, 450 gold from Muller was put in for this null magic mantle, and you know, it's about the amount of gold of which he would have picked up with the kill on Putin, so maybe I would say definitely by the time Viking has picked up his Black Cleaver, maybe have a bit of a lane swap from top to mid, and see if that works out a bit more better for them. I mean, gold has been put into countering the damage here from Putin, but more damage is going to come through. Helo Plague is going to follow. Just getting the speed from the I've forgotten the name of the keystone.
Phase Rush. As
Phase Rush.
Shelly gets popped in the top lane.
And the cloak. So much damage is going to be coming through here. Killcore almost picked up a solo kill there on Viking, forcing out the flash, and Shelly's going to headbutt that tower, and first Tower Blood is going to fall for Muller, but Magic's looking to stay around here, as well as Muller.
I think the pick potential is still pretty great. Muller doesn't have Scarl, so if Dunkmaster oversteps, that's a kill on the
Old School Guy is going to catch out Killcore here. Viking looking to go on the aggressive. Flash is going to come through. The blood transfusion to kick him into him, and it was so close. Putin almost managing to pick up a kill there. Akiko might look to pick up this one. Passive is going to be forced from Killcore. Can they get the kill? I mean, the answer is practically yes. Old School Guy, though, is going to steal that one away from Akiko.
I think that's just having your autos on and not taking your autos off as a jungler.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I turn off my auto attack for situations like that.
Exactly. Old School Guy just getting half health by Lodberg. And Lodberg doesn't even have a completed item yet. We are seeing... And, okay, we like to talk bad about All-Stars when they're losing, but right now, technically, they're doing better. They are doing better, and there's a way for them to get back in the game, giving Jinx that first item, and getting Daisy out on teamfights. You saw them catch out Killcore in the mid lane, and they did secure that kill onto the mid laner. So while they may be losing top lane, they still can apply pressure later in the game. They might just have to forfeit a few towers, but as long as they get their rotations right, I think All-Stars can effectively come back in as Lee Sin starts to fall off.
And so many ADCs are going back to favoring this Season 7 build pathing of the BF Sword and straight into the Zeal, and then crit item, as you can see here. Lordberg is favoring that BF Sword and Zeal, like we just said. But yeah, the early itemization from both of the AD carries is certainly going to be a huge deciding factor in the skirmishing abilities, but with the amount of CC that Grave puts down as he does find a Saber straight onto Old School here. Aggression is going to be coming here from Mola, just being able to catch him on the side of that charge. Traps are going to come down from Jinx, but he's going to put himself in a terrible position. Akiko's going to get stuck up. Dragon's Rage is going to come through. Can they get the return kill on Magic? They can't. Ignite isn't going to come from Yakko. And Lordberg's looking to stick around here, trying to pick up another kill. And while all that's happening, Space Viking looking to roam down, but isn't going to find much.
That's just not respecting the objective on the side of All-Stars. Knowing that objective is up and knowing that Shelly has also been taken. Ooh, nice!
Viking's going to find himself in a bad position here. And the wall kept him there as the teleport's going to come through. Maybe not the place you want to be TPing. He doesn't have the charge to prevent it. And Although he did some damage, shredding the armor, it isn't going to come to much.
It's just a power TP right there. If you're Muller, you're just protecting your top tower. You're not going to want to give Dunkmaster Putin any more gold.
Following through, plates aren't up at the moment, so we're just looking to get rid of the tower itself. I mean, old school guy kind of just put himself in an extremely bad position there. He started to ult the drag. He started to auto attack the dragon, which I'm guessing put himself in a bad position. But Fibion
Nice
is going to come through. Lordberg is going to absolutely get destroyed by that. Muller is going to die in the top side. Solo kill down by Putin. A double kill for Viking, and KMG Allstars are finding their feet in this match.
Yes, no, Viking right now is doing the best possible thing you can do as Urgot, and that's damage control. Even if you're behind as Urgot, you're not really, because you have one Fear Beyond Death away from getting that bounty back into your pocket. And so while Dunkmaster Putin may be outscaled and currently outclassed by the Kled, you did give opportunity for the rest of your team to go and push down that bot tower and to secure a couple kills. So it's nice to see Lodberg go down, although Lodberg did pick up that IE, which is going to be crucial with the extra crit on the IE right now. And with the Zeal pickup, you were talking about Zeal earlier, saying, oh, it's nice to see that back in the game. Although, ooh, nice ultimate from Magic.
Dragon's Rage Forced, yeah, they're from Magic, and it's like you were talking about. This is the first death for Lodberg over these 2 games in this matchup, and Lodberg has really been performing so well for the side of for Lyra, and I really have more to see from him. But yeah, both ADCs not looking to favour the Zeal item, they're looking to favour the Infinity Edge more with that. I believe it's a 40% crit chance that they both have.
Yeah, it's 40% now, switched up from 35, and then it costs less because they want to bring, obviously, crit back into the game. And so when it costs less like that, it's such a crucial buy because you get that little bit of extra attack speed and you get more crit chance on the attacks that, because as an ADC, you're expected now to hit more often and stop kiting. And so we do have our kite champions in the game as we see Old School Guy come down and step over
Old School Guy with those mobility boots is going to be putting a lot of pressure, but Magic is going to be here to answer. An instant flash from Akiko is going to be answered. Going to be throwing down the ultimate onto Akiko to keep her alive, but Old School Guy is going to be falling. And here comes Viking in the bot lane. He's going to be looking to turn some of this aggression onto Magic, but he's just going to defend. Resonating Strike hit, but isn't going to be answered from Magic, and just an easy pickup and counter gank there. A perfect read from Magic.
And if you are Dunkmaster Putin right now, you can push the tower, but if you really want to apply pressure, you should be able to TP down and save that tower. One thing Allstars are going to have to... Ooh, nice engage.
And another fight going to be coming through here. Resonating Strike is going to land. Glacial Storm is just going to be absolutely shredding the side of KMG Allstars. A kill picked up a kill core and 1 for Magic, and really in a good position here, looking to clean up this tier 2 turret. And do they have the ability to push onto the inhibitor?
They can, as long as Dunkmaster Putin stays top. Currently with the death timers right now, they can do it. What's a better play is regrouping, stealing all of the jungle, and then just rotating. Baron's going to be up in about 2 minutes, so if you can secure the vision around that, you kind of choke Allstars' vision out. So they could probably rotate to the mid, and once they open that up a little bit more, as you see they're doing, they are rotating very nicely. Even though they sacrificed the top tower, they got so much more out of it. And so it's nice to see the 2-item Caitlyn come out. It's nice to see Static Shiv back into the meta. And I'm excited to see what they do with it.
Unfortunately, the early game pressure here for Akiko isn't enough. Although she received the wild growth from Yako, it just wasn't enough to keep her alive. And she's in such a bad spot right now, only being on the 1.5 items compared to Lodberg. Is this the point in time where you force a fight for SRG?
You can. You have to force the fight onto Killcore, and you have to initiate the fight with everyone at full health. Because you don't have the lifesteal on Akiko right now, it's really hard to sustain yourself in those team fights because Lulu doesn't give you health. If you are Lodberg right now, it doesn't matter because you can kite around with your net and your traps and you can be fine. So you need to catch out a fight where Lodberg and Grathwall aren't in it, and I believe Allstars can kind of wedge their way back into the vision game. And also, hopefully, the team fighting skirmishes that they have succeeded in, as long as the 4 members of SRG are there.
Grathwall could be caught out here. Stun is going to land, but isn't going to answer to everything. Look to go back on the aggressive, but my chosen fight he didn't want to pick. He's going to walk this one out, but looking at the itemization of this Ivern, with the Ardent Sensor coming through and looking to build into that redemption, pressure going to be coming through, but is this enough for Akiko? I mean, like we talked about, the heavily favored protect the AD comp isn't working out so yet, and you're going to have to wait for that Jinx to be getting on the 2-item to 3-item power spike before she really gets online.
Exactly, and we haven't seen Vladimir pop off or even be in the team fights, but he has been able to farm. As SRG starts up the Baron, the actual Baron this time.
Yeah, Baron is going to be forced.
I'm excited to see how the Allstars respond, because they're melting it.
Pause is going to come through for Old School Guy, and we look on the map, the pause has come through, and this isn't going to be great. There's probably 0 steal potential here as Ivan is on the mid lane and DC'd. And that's probably going to be a huge disadvantage. There was definitely steal potential with the flash into the pit being a possibility, but you can only help thinking that SRG are going to have this one in the bags with the Lee Sin's fight.
I think that we're not going to see any steals off this Baron. This Baron has
very low HP. I like to say very low. Unfortunately, can't see it at the moment.
Can't see it. I'm trying. I'm trying to zoom in and out.
I would say about 3,000 HP.
Yeah.
3,000.
So while it's
reasonable.
still there, currently they don't have Viking in the fight, and they did put a ward down, but it's not a ward you can teleport to. And so, 2,719. All right.
2,719 HP on Baron. Thank you to our very fantastic and amazing friend, Joe. Yes. Production manager. Hell yes.
Thank you for that.
Thank you very
something
much.
that we're gonna see as we unpause the game eventually is that even though Viking's not in the fight, Viking is setting up map presence around the Dragon Pit, which will be the next objective. As we get back into the game, we are going to kind of see the Baron get taken. They're going to turtle in. Top tower's probably going to go out. Oh!
Flash is going to come in. The steal potential was there. He's going to absolutely obliterate Grau. A Hemoplague is onto 4 members. Magic is going to be looking to fall here next. Resonate Extra is going to come through. Kiko's going to fall. Lothberg is going to pick that one up on the backside. The charge is going to come through from Muller. He says, hello, I'm in this fight. Viking is going to look to get away and flash defensively, but the wall is perfect from Killcore. Looking to go back on the aggressive, but can't get anything done. Magic going to pick that one up. And a 1 for 4 for SRG Lyra after picking up Baron. And you can only help thinking this is inhibitor down.
This is definitely mid inhibitor, and they can just push out a lane and get that top tower. This Baron play is going to be really impressive for SRG because they're just going to be able to push wherever they want. Something that a mistake was made, Space Viking decided to enter the fight, and Duckmaster Putin decided to flash and try to steal. I admire the steal potential that could have happened, but the damage right now, it didn't really favor Putin in that trade. So as we're talking to...
And one really important thing to mention here, Hat, is although they do want to take the inhibitor in the mid lane, it gives so much tempo for them. I mean, although they will have the lane continuously shoving in towards to KMG Allstars, it means that they lose a lot of pressure and they lose a lot of pick potential with the pick comp that they have, as they'll always be forced back to the base. So maybe a really good call for SRG Lyra to just leave that up and leave the lanes pushing towards them to use this pick composition. But if we look at the itemization here for Magic, favouring that Youmuu's Ghostblade in the early game is going to give him so much mobility out of combat. And another thing to mention about Lee Sin is that with the lethality, we'll have so much burst potential and damage.
I agree, and as they go into this bot lane, they can find a pick anywhere if you are SRG right now, and you can totally clear out the jungle. And so what they're doing is they're starving the resources, and while they, like you said, did not get the inhibitor, that is going to be their next play as they try to push out lanes and make sure that there is complete suffocation, and they have to force Allstars to answer all the lanes that are pushed. It's a very good play by SRG. However, it can punish them if they stay too long trying to overextend these lanes.
I definitely agree with you on that one, Hat. Just looking for the punishment, and although they're shoving these lanes, he's going to be looking to get the pick. Leeson's going to go aggressive, but he's going to get Polymorph. Not the play he wanted, but is going to get the flash kick in the end. Kiko will fall. That's the carry down for the side of KMG All-Stars. Lodberg flashing aggressively to get a 1 pick, a 2nd pick looking for the 3rd. He's going to fall as well. Putin's on the backline. A huge Hemoflake is going to come through. Can Viking and Putin finish off this fight? So far, so good. Fear Beyond Death is going to proc against multiple members. And I think KMG might just have this fight in the bag.
Actually, I think they did well, but they are still losing objectives. And so Dunkmaster Putin can jump in.
Putin's putting on so much damage. He's going to get stunned up and just cleaned up there. The fight goes in the favor of SRG. And it's not the cleanest fight. They had Baron. They had everything they could ever possibly want, the pressure, but just going too deep, and he is going to get him. Kiko with the cleanup. Super Mega Death Rocket says hello to Grave. And although, like I said just then, they had so much advantage, it really shows that KMG also do have the potential to fight very cleanly, and the Hemo play just absolutely melted the backline of SRG Lyra.
Exactly, and Killcore, they didn't kill Agnivia, so Agnivia respawned and kind of cleaned up Dunkmaster Putin there. Lodberg got a level heavy-handed along with Magic. Magic dove in without really cause, didn't dive back out to kind of get abilities away from Old School Guy and Yak. So when you're trying to ult bait as Magic, you don't want to fully commit to the fight, and I think he overestimated their abilities. SRG's still winning, but I agree, Allstars does have that team fight potential, especially if Viking doesn't get burst down, because Viking is in a really good spot right now with this Righteous Glory and Black Cleaver, where you can just tear through the armor, or lack thereof, of Lordberg, of Grathwall, of Magic, and really turn the fight in your ADC's favor once they get online.
And going back to that fight once again, as Graith gets caught out a bit here, the engager on Magic, I can really see the ideology behind it, trying to get the ward kick and then the kick flash, but Yaka was so perfect on the response to the polymorph to really shut that down and allow a Kiko to get at least some damage down, but the kick flash still came through and put him into the middle of the enemy team. But if a Kiko can stay alive for at least 10 to 15 seconds of a fight, that could be fight practically won, as he is on 2 items, and although I would favour Lordberg on 3, he's going to have this Ardent Sensor buff and the Redemption coming through to really help him out with dealing damage and sustaining and staying alive. Daisy is going to be propped here.
It's going to be really hard for SRG to siege towers without Baron right now, because of the pressure that Akiko has in fights if they can't catch it out right away. So, Allstars have a way back in. They just need to find it, and they need to pick their fights, especially with an Urgot engage or a flank from Dunkmaster Putin.
30 seconds on Baron, and Muller is just on the mid inhibitor here saying, I don't give a damn if you're top lane. I'm mid, come answer me. And the pause is going to come in here for the side of KMG All-Stars. I will get more information for you guys on what that was. But
hey,
ultimately...
Hey, I have a kind of a challenge for you. Do you think there'll be more flashes between the next pause, or more pauses between the next flash? I think we may have connection issues, but my challenge is that I'm on the side that we might have one more pause before someone flashes again, because Allstars are going to try to play it a little more safe. And I don't think SRG is in the right to flash, so I think the flash pause differential is there.
I like it. I really like it, and it's a challenge, and to be honest, I think there's probably going to be another pause before there's a flash.
We do have connection problems on the side of KMG. We don't know what that looks like yet, but if we look at the map right now, we do see that SRG is pushing into the base, and they're doing it quite effectively, as Mueller can pretty much go wherever they want, because it's going to take about 2 people to get him off of Scarl and then killed. So you are wasting resources trying to kill Mueller, so I guess giving up the inhib is fine if you are fine with being able to safely farm back. If they give up their last inhib, however, then that's when it becomes not fine.
So there's one thing I've realized about the side of SRG Lyra and how they're performing, is that they're always playing around the vision of KMG. And if you look at the bot side, they have perfect vision. I mean, KMG have absolute complete control over the bot side jungle, but where's SRG playing? They're in top side. And it's these little micro mistakes and the macro mistakes that KMG are making are really punishing them, such as the vision and it all being in the wrong places. But going back to pause over flash, you have to remember that Yakko is in this game, and who likes to use their flash more than Yakko? Because I can't think of a single person. Oh, it's down. Oh no, well, we can see that off cooldown. Maybe a Kiko will be forced out. Then again, I'm looking forward.
Back into the game, I'm excited to see if, like you said, if SRG pressures the ward that they have in their topside jungle. However, their sieging potential is only gauged by how well the enemy's engage is, and currently Space Viking did not have the power to engage. As you said before, Lodberg has 3 items and can really punish you. So they didn't get that in him, but I guarantee you, after they pick up Baron or Dragon, that's where SRG is going next. Hyper?
So having the 2 inhibitors down for KMG Allstars isn't the worst thing necessarily, although it forces them to be back in the base. It gives them a place for them to farm safely, and in regards to Lodberg being on 3 items, now so is Kiko. The Kiko has been farming up, picking up those super minions and those caster minions and the cannon minions. He's been accumulating a lot of gold, and to be honest with you, I do believe that Kiko and Lodberg have roughly about the same amount of gold. Lodberg is just 1,000 gold up on Kiko, so not a lot of advantages. And when you're playing a composition which is such ADC orientated, there's advantages for the side of KMG, and it's about if they can play around those advantages. And
I think
play
if I'm
around the
SRG
vision.
right now, I'm trying to bait him around Baron. I'm going to start it up, and I'm going to wait for them to try to engage, because the super minions are just pushing into the base.
Viking's going to be forced to answer. No TP potential. Baron completed. Graith is going to get caught out, but it's all for nothing. The charge is going to come through. SLG just say, we're on the aggressive now. Lyra, we're just going to absolutely shred the backside of KMG. 2 fast skills going to be coming through from Magic and Killcore. Still in the aggressive. Chain is going to be pulling back in Vital. Wall's going to completely stop him. The shot from Lodberg comes through, and it is the closing shot as Yakko falls as well. And the aggressive flash is going to come from Killcore, just picking up that one. The complete ace. And we said hashtag SRG win, hashtag KMG win, and SRG, although they were very convincing in game 1, were a little bit more unstable in game 2. A very good performance ultimately from KRG.
Yeah. Okay. SRG did a really good job in this game. I'd like to see more Caitlyn's coming out in the games we cast, because the damage potential, the half health potential on squishy junglers, if you are playing Caitlyn, is really impressive. And so as we go in, chat, make sure to vote for your player of the game. We have the links in chat. Get your MVP for Lyra and MVP for the All-Stars. My MVP for Lyra right now is Lodberg. Lodberg had impressive games. And even though Magic came in and the jungle pressure was good, it was Lodberg that they knew had that safe damage. What's your opinion, Hyper?
So, although I believe that KMG around this time drafted a lot more better, having the Jinx instead of the Xayah and the Lulu instead of the... Yeah. I believe the Lulu instead of the Jaina, that was correct. It was a much more solid composition, and almost definitely played a lot more better to their strengths, and at a point were definitely in charge of the game and had it in their grasp. But SRG really showing that they are the team to be messed with, and it was such good play by the side of Killcore as well in the mid lane, really dominating the matchup and showing that the Anivia pick into the Urgot isn't the worst. But overall, yeah, Lodberg is definitely my personal MVP, doing so much damage in the backline of all of those independent fights, and the Gold League was just absolutely exponential for them.
I think that as we go into like All-Stars play and play style, I think they did better second game, obviously. However, what they need to work on is, one, I think picking old school guy, having that engaged jungle presence. You do want to protect your Jinx, but it's easier to protect your Jinx by killing the enemy team than waiting for your Jinx to do it, especially when you have Grathwall on the engaged Leona. When the enemy team is more engaged than you, you put yourself always on that back foot, unless you can flank and have that effective jungle pressure. And so when you pick Ivern, you need to make sure that you maybe have a Galio, or you maybe have that Lissandra, because those engages will help your Jinx in this situation get on top of the enemy team. And so I think Allstars need to work on their draft. But other than that, their playstyle, their vision, it was there. They just need to work on their rotations and draft.
Yeah, Putin, I believe, came out the match there with the second most damage dealt, 16,000. And it really showed that the Vladimir's potential of damage in the late game when he's got that when he's got that death cap and he's got that proto belt. So much AoE potential, but it was really rare that it led to kills. I believe when they dived on the bot lane inhibitor turret was the only time that Putin really showed up and had the potential to do all that damage. But I'd like to see more TP plays from the side of KMG. A lot of skirmishing happening in the bot lane was really unanswered from Putin, but Muller seemed to be there quite a lot of the time with the ultimate, really just rushing down people and really asserting his dominance and getting those early leads with the, in the end, the 45 CS differential.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Dunkmaster Putin, I think putting him on the Vlad and trying to switch up where the Urgot Vlad goes, that's a really great pick, especially if they're comfort picks for Space Viking and Dunkmaster. However, you're really playing into skill matchups and losing lanes, and Kled really just wants to push. Kled wants to split push, and you have to find a split push answer to Kled. Vladimir is there, but you really want Vlad in your team fights with the Hemo. So I'm excited to see how Allstars do in the future, but as you said prior, Lyra has the dominance in the division right now, and I can't see anyone rising to where Lyra is at the top of the standings.
Lyra have proven to be such a dominating team, have they not? And today they held strong to their name in Game 1. Game 2 was a little bit more shaky, but they had the driving seat and they had the potential to win it from the start. And a really solid pick draft from them. And although it was a pick draft, really being able to peel for the Caitlyn in the late game. I mean, when you've got Muller just running at you with a Black Cleaver and a GA and a Titanic Hydra, you're going to be scared as any champion.
Yeah, I feel that. And as we slowly try to wrap up the stream, where do you see Lyra going in the future? Do you see them going into Division 1? Do you think they have the potential to rise up and challenge those teams up there?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, they are such a good team, and although independently, mechanically, there was some questionable plays from the side of SRG Lyra, all of them were just absolutely exponential. I mean, one of the plays that I have to say were very questionable was when Lodberg flashed healed under the tower to pick up a kill onto a Kiko. I mean, a bit of over-aggression and perhaps cockiness from the side of SRG, but if you're going to be SRG and you're practically 15-0 on kills, I think you have every right to be cocky and to really dive for those late game kills. So overall, just a really good and solid performance from the both of them. But yeah, I mean, overall, Lyra come out on top and show us that they're the team to be reckoned with.
I agree. And as we slowly start to end the stream, as I said before, we'd like to thank our... do you know our sponsor's name? I think we should figure out our sponsor's name.
Oh, I don't know our sponsor's name.
You're horrible. Okay, we're horrible. Gamers Class. Beautiful. And so, if you are curious and want to improve your league play, go to Gamers Class. It's sponsored by Froggen. We think we all know Froggen.
Froggen.
And so,
Anivia was in this game. Like,
yes,
it couldn't have been Fate more often.
So, try to log on there and improve your skills, because, you know, maybe you, a viewer, are the one to beat Lyra. Who knows? We'll watch it happen. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in to the stream today, and tune in for our next game, as even though I don't know the teams, and keep that notification on. Keep that notification on so that you're notified whenever SRG is streaming, so you can come in and cheer on our EUS teams. My name is Caster Hat, color commentator, and I am joined by play-by-play Brad, or Hyper.
Oh,
and
yes.
Thank you very much for coming to the stream today, and I hope you have a wonderful night or day if you're watching from America, as I am.